Hello, hello. Insert generic intro here. I hope everyone's doing well today. I am going to be playing a little more Celeste. I'm gonna aim for doing the B-sides to find wherever the crystal hearts are for the remaining bits. I did change out, yeah, insert generic message here. I did change on my layout, so I hope this works better. I wasn't able to see the activity feed and chat at the same time properly, so hopefully this time it's better. Yeah, and with that, I will get into it. Okay, this seems way rougher than usual. Like that, I think? Yeah. Part of me streaming is I'm working on getting better at just being comfortable with my own voice and talking. And something you might notice if you've been like watching or keeping up with any of my stuff, I tend to do a bunch of like rapid fire topics, but I don't end up sticking to one for very long. So that is what I'm going to try and work on now, is choosing some sort of topic. It can change, but to not just say like 50 random facts or thoughts and actually discuss them. Like, I've been having some weird dreams lately. Almost all of them have to do with food. It doesn't make any sense, specifically why. Uh, there was a weird one where I was leading a cult, which honestly kind of checks out, but I had no idea what I was doing, so that's something. I need to remember to also keep an eye out for the crystal hearts. That's good to see you're here, Kukureed. I assume that's how that's pronounced. Of course, it's pronounced correct. That's my best attempt at whatever that is, but Coco's fine. Okay, Coco's fine. Yeah, I hope you're having a good day so far. Or Choo Choo. You chill? Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm respecting how you want to be addressed. Music's going a bit ham at the moment. 40 minutes past midnight currently? Okay, make sure you do get some rest. Just, I don't know what your schedule's like, but rest is important. So, I want to make sure you don't feel obligated to stay, but just, if you want to, that's fine, but take care of yourself, is what I'm meaning to say. I could probably live up better to that since I stay up like every night till... I try to go to bed by 11, but I stay up till like 3 in the morning. Because of the syndrome that is... yeah, no, I'll just one more chapter of this. Just one more YouTube video. One more attempt at doing this. The curse that nobody can escape. I'm not... I think I need to smaller jump around there. Like that type of jump. Yeah, there was a storm last night for me, so I unfortunately wasn't able to get that much sleep. Just been having a bit of rough weather recently. There we go. Yippee! Yeah, I had to somehow get... I had to get down there before it does, so... Yeah, I'm surprised this mountain's still open to the public with how many OSHA violations are here. I mean, clearly the city's in ruins, but... it does not seem safe whatsoever. Solid spice. That could just be icicles, though. But there's no guardrails, okay? I think there should be guardrails on something like this. It is Forsaken. Yep. Fits the name. There. Okay, I almost had it that time. I needed that. Yeah, I've never done the whole urban explorer thing. I always found that to be an interesting thing, though. Just haven't been around a lot of abandoned buildings. Well, I mean, I guess you could consider some buildings abandoned, but they were much older than modern day buildings, so like Victoria era or earlier. So don't really have experience with the exact thing, I guess. Yeah, there's just something so satisfying about wandering out in places you're not supposed to be. I I I am a bit of a goody two shoes for a lot of this stuff, but like just wandering out into the forest or like the abandoned ruins, there's just something almost primal about it, I want to say. That makes my caveman brain go ooga booga. So the question is, okay, I can just redo it at that point, but I hope you're ready to see this screen a lot, or at least this dying animation. solving somewhat difficult puzzles to mostly just listening. No, that's totally fine. I'm just yapping. You don't have to chat if you don't want to. I'm good with just yapping away. I'm not necessarily looking for responses when I'm talking. But yeah, whatever comfort I can bring to people with my streaming, like, I'm good with that. No. That does remind me, I used to be like really good at puzzles. Not anymore. I have no idea why. Probably something anxiety related. But like I used to be able to do puzzles without looking at the reference picture. Nowadays I can barely do it with the reference picture because I second guess myself too often. Not jigsaw problem, most math programming puzzle? Oh. Yeah. Similar thing kind of applies to me for those two. I have been diagnosed with like 12 types of anxiety. So, because of that, I've realized that's probably why I second guess almost everything I do. That reminds me, there's this weird thing that I don't know how many other people experience it, but like, I have this weird thing where my thoughts loop in my head. So, that's why you'll hear me pause so often, is because my brain's cycling through the words I'm going to say a few times. But it does get repetitive, and I can't really do anything about it. It makes work really hard to do, though, because it's all my thoughts are repeating in my head. It makes me feel like I've already done the work several times by the time I start to do the work, because in my head I practically have, even though I have yet to do a single thing. So there's some weird brain stuff. I wonder how different my life would be if I hadn't gotten so much brain trauma. I don't know what it is, but like, from what I hear, like, VTubers slash PNG tubers all have some form of head trauma. My life is a history of head trauma. I've been hit in the face with cricket bats, baseball bats. Those were not fun. Neither of them were. Metal poles, concrete, metal slabs. Pretty much if there's anything I could hit my head on, I'd find a way to. Yeah, being hit in the head with anything is not fun, but especially like bats. Apparently it's a common, like, autism thing, but like, struggle with hand-eye coordination early in life. But yeah, because my sister doesn't have autism, and she didn't do the same thing, even though she went the exact same places as me. I don't really hit my head anymore, I just had horrible luck. It didn't even matter if, like, I was even around anything. Like, I'm just sitting there, a metal pole comes flying at my head, or a ball from the neighborhood kids would just smack me, even though I was nowhere near them. And in case you're wondering, why was there a metal pole flying through the air? A person nearby was the like doing martial arts with an aluminum rod for a bow staff, and they accidentally slept in it. It didn't pierce anything, thankfully, but it did get a good spear on my head. That probably did something bad. But health. The more I think about it, the weirder my health is. It's like, none of my body is normal in the traditional sense. My head is slightly too big. My arms are literally too long for my body by like an inch, which I think adds to why people are kind of weirded out by how I look. My bones are way too hard, but not dense, strangely enough. They just don't break when they should. And like I can get into like real detail here. Like my tongue, I have something called the geographic tongue, which means I get patterns on it. And then there's also stuff like just my medical experiences. I mentioned this yesterday. I don't know if you're still here or not, but never trust doctors during April 1st because they're mean. The one time I had surgery did not go well at all. And then there's also that time I drank poison. That made me feel really tired. I did not feel good after that, unsurprisingly, but pretty much what had happened was that when I was younger, I want to say like around 6 years old, I was at my school, and my school had a bit of a staff problem. This was in Ireland, and what I didn't know is that the faculty had put rat poison into some of the soil in order to get rid of the stout. And what the stouts weren't really that great of a thing, but putting poison in the dirt and plants with a bunch of children around, maybe not the best idea. Yeah, so I was being a creative little kid, a creative young lad, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a potion. Like make-believe sort of thing, because I was 6. And I ended up mixing a bunch of dirt and random plants in my water bottle. I then later forgot that I did that, and drank it. The weird thing is that the doctors, like, I had to go to the hospital the next day because of it. But the doctors had no idea what was going on. Like, they weren't even like, oh yeah, no, it's a case of poisoning. No, I just had to sit there while they were wondering how I got meningitis. I didn't have meningitis. I just tested positive for meningitis due to poison. I don't know how that works, but apparently something got triggered. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, during that time I just remember being in the backseat of the car being driven around the county looking, like going to the doctor, like different doctors to try and figure out what was going on. Glad I survived. They pretty much just had me wait it out, but yeah. Moral of the story, kids, don't drink poison. That is a very good moral to have. I got it that time. And now I'm back to dying. Anyway. Yeah. And like when COVID struck, I didn't get COVID for the entire quarantine until my sister went out and I told her, you're gonna get COVID. And she did. I'm always right. Even when I'm wrong, it is just a test to see if you know the truth. Okay? Because I am infallible. Okay, new room. So, you know how a lot of, like, sea monster reports back in the day were just whale penises? I wonder if, like, whales have a version of, like, land monsters for human penises. Food for thought. Because, like, they technically do have their own language. I'm not sure about the specifics of it, but, like, I do wonder how far that kind of thing goes. Like, do they have their own local legends? And if so, are they as weird as ours? I, I don't know why I know so many animal penis facts. There's no reason why I should. But, like, whenever I don't have many opportunities to share them, but whenever I do, people just look at me like I'm weird. Like, what's wrong with bringing up the fact that female hyenas have penises and give birth out of them? I think I saw something to the left. Nope, I didn't. Like, do you think horses have their own version of centaurs? That, well, they just also be centaurs now that I think about it. But, like, how far do you think it goes in terms of animal religion? Because, like, elephants have uh, burial rites. Well, like, what do animals think of humans? I'm always so curious about that. I'm sure plenty of them don't like us whatsoever, which would make sense given how, we treat them. But, like, it must be wild for, like, animals to see, like, sea animals to see divers. It's like, no dude, I swear there's this weird creature that just came up and about. Never seen anything like it before, because it wouldn't have. I guess to answer my earlier question, I don't think the whales would be able to notice the human penises well enough to make stories about them. But like, so much history is just people lying to impress someone else. Especially with animals. There's the sea monster thing, and that I've been talking about. And then in addition to that, like a lot of expeditions, which had no reason to go on at the time, were justified with like, oh, there's a dangerous thing out here, we need to sail out into the depths. I like to explain missing ships. But then there's also like piranhas. It's like, piranhas aren't actually that mean if you've ever talked to a piranha. Well, I say talk to a piranha like you can have a conversation with it. But the piranhas are like fairly nice and docile. What happened was is that some guys in, I think Teddy Roosevelt, was it? I don't know, I'm not the best at history. So, Teddy Roosevelt was in the Amazon and his men wanted to impress him. So what they did is that they starved a bunch of ones in order for the piranhas to become very, very vicious and feisty, desperate for food. It's like, yeah, no, this is how they usually are. Yeah, it does make you wonder how many stuff like that has happened. Oh, I see what I have to do. Okay, another checkpoint is good. Why can we stand there? I guess to recharge the dash. So I want to save the dash for the very end. because that's what I do. So, the whole thing with Celeste is like strawberries. Do you think Madeline's hair tastes like strawberries? And on that subject, do you think after she dashes and her hair turns blue, it's blue raspberry flavored? I do enjoy good blue raspberry, even though it's not a real thing. If I had to choose one, I'd say raspberries are probably my favorite berry. Mm. Yeah, this is just straight up. I don't know if the crystal. I don't know where the crystal heart is in this, so I don't know if they're hidden or not. But if I get through it and I can't find it, I can always look it up. Like, yeah, I know that's cheating, but don't want to be stuck there and just doing the same thing over and over again and succeeding without any idea. So, like, it'll always be surprising to me that cannibalism is legal here in the US. And like, I did research on this because I was confused. As long as it's consenting and the person doesn't die, it is completely legal. So like, you can just cut off someone's arm and eat it if they say it's a good idea. Of course, you have to be wary of like prions, which if you had to eat, what is the problem with that? The only problem with it is, yeah, if they consent, it should be fine. But something that is worrisome is the potential for prion disease, because it can't just affect you, it could also affect your entire lineage for like several generations to come. Which prions are pretty much messed up proteins that create holes in your brain. And that's why if you had to eat someone, go for the thighs. The thighs are the most nutritious, or so I've heard. And the like that will give you the least amount of prions. Or so I've heard is doing a lot. Yeah, I know. It also tastes like pig, apparently. Yeah, like, there's nothing weird about it. I just did some research on cannibalism. Because I was curious. Can you fault a man for being curious about the legal system and how people decide to interact with each other? Thank you for the offer, but I do not do AI viewers. Seems a little zoomed in. Okay, oh, I see what's going on. Sorry about that. There you go. That should be good. It's a weird thing with the full screen, is that the full screen, for some reason for me, is smaller than the, like, windowed version of it. But I mean, like, how much does it take for cannibalism to be considered cannibalism? Is a question. It's like, I've drank in someone else's blood before. I just have had done that. It was actually pretty good tasting. Ever so slightly vampire much? Yeah, no, it wasn't a vampire thing. It was out of curiosity. I was innocently be like, huh. I was talking to one of my female friends about blood because they got like a hangnail. And we were discussing like how that blood tastes funky. And I do like the taste of blood. I probably have like iron deficiency or something like that. Yeah, it's not really healthy to do that. But anyway, naturally, the topic came up of, well, do different people's bloods taste different then? The answer is yes, ever so slightly. It is really hard to tell. And part of it might have been like what was like on their skin. Now that I'm thinking about they might have been like flirting with me in a weird way. No, it's not very healthy, and I don't know what blood type they were, so I can't like have any conclusive evidence, but I have drank in someone else's blood. Also not helping the vampire allegations is that I do have really sharp teeth. You're doing research on total synthesis of RDX? Yeah, no, like, I understand. I am totally for going for advancements of science, even if they might seem a bit weird. For instance, I am really curious what it's like to produce milk. So, something I want to do, but I'm not able to do because I don't have the resources, unfortunately, is I want to get like, let's say 10 people in a room. 5 men, 5 women, and we hop them up on estrogen, and then we all get together and milk each other. Totally innocent. Then, we try it and see if man milk tastes different from woman milk. Also, you cannot tell me it's not funny to walk up to your homie and go, hey, have my milk. Especially as a dude. Like, and I don't think there's anything weird about that. When I told people, they just looked at me like I was a crazy person. But, like, what is this thing that the women are capable of doing, aka making milk? Meanwhile, I am not allowed to. What are they hiding from me? And before you ask, yes, it is possible. I have done research on this, that it is possible to make men lactate. I myself have developed breasts, even though I'm a dude, because during puberty I ate way too much edamame, which is high in estrogen. But I'm just curious, like, nothing wrong with that. I just realized I have an odd amount of thoughts about bodily fluids. Unless it's a normal thing to be curious about these things. You know what, I think I might make that a goal. Like, if I ever make it big as a streamer, like big, I doubt I will, but if I ever do, I will do a collab in which I will take a bunch of streamers together and milk them all and do scientific research on what the difference is between man milk and woman milk. That is my promise. If I make it big, that's what you have to look forward to. So yeah, vote me for Twitch president of 2026, and you might be able to see your favorite content creators be milked. No, I don't think I will. Come on, live a little. You can't convince me it wouldn't make great content. It wouldn't be hilarious. Sure, some people might be worried about it, but we're not those people, so... I am those people? Oh. Listen, it's not weird if you don't make it weird, okay? It's a natural humanly body thing, and we're doing research on it. I am not going to stand down on this, by the way. Not really natural. Yes, I'm aware that it's not really natural, but technically it can happen. I mean, I'm already halfway there. Like, you can get naturally halfway there as a dude. I'm not sure about the part that makes you lactate, but, like, you can get developed breasts as a dude. Just naturally? No. But, like, I want to know, like, what are the women hiding from me? Yeah, about the experience. I hear it sucks and it's painful, but I want to be the one to experience that. And honestly, I think it's better than steroids because I don't do steroids. But why to what question? Sorry, why to what sentence? Because there's a lot of stuff you could say why to here, and I just want to make sure I'm addressing the right thing. Literally any of them, I just want to know. I'm curious. Because, like, does the testosterone in men make it any different? It could also be like think about this. Wonders of science, like single fathers could create milk for their children. I don't think it's that weird for me to be so invested in this. How many taste of their own milk? It's actually quite common practice to taste milk, just like to check to see whether it's gone bad or not. I do know that much. Yeah. And hey, if you think it's weird, we could always try to, like, make it a bit more entertaining. We could have it be like on a game show sort of thing, where we have a roulette wheel. And whoever tastes the milk spins the wheel and has to guess who it is based off of their diet, because milk does taste different based on your diet. Yeah, I heard it really does hurt and it does suck. If like to start lactating, but that's the thing, like you'd only have to do it for a little bit. Are you seriously telling me? Thanks. I am trying quite a bit. Yeah. Are you seriously telling me that you wouldn't want to go to your homies with a bottle of your own milk and have them taste it. Because if you say no, I don't believe you. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised how well I'm doing. I heard this would be really hard, and I was expecting it to be harder, but not that it's not hard, but gonna be getting over it. Yeah, have fun with that. It was nice having you in stream for a bit in chat. Even if you were just hanging out a lot for most of it, I do enjoy knowing that people enjoy hanging out. And then, like, think about the milk thing. Yes, I'm still on this. Because I really am just genuinely curious. If you were to milk someone, just like, no, let me change the question, so that's weird. What are the physical, like, there's so many different experiments I want to do, but I know they'd be either really hard or inhumane. The milk thing isn't one of them. That's a serious one. You know what? Why can't I access that? Okay, this one. What is a text? I have a text box over here. I don't think I can really. Okay, that's from a previous stream. Okay. Now I'm just gonna hide that, like, up here. That way, if anyone comes in, they'll just be really concerned. Okay, where was I? Right, Celeste. We're climbing a mountain. Yeah, kids these days are so entitled. When are you like, don't even want to be milked anymore. When are you gonna pull yourself up by the bootstraps? Huh? Yeah, for this, but I think it's just a matter of timing. Oh yeah, no, and then no, here's a great part about it. I wouldn't necessarily want to change them too much biologically, so we'd only get a little bit. But with it, we could also make various desserts, like ice cream or butter, and just have a taste testing. Imagine that. Streamer ice cream. I'm telling you, this is a gold mine here. I don't know why that reminds me of this, but I'm reminded of the time I had to do a dissection of a squid for a marine biology class. And like this is really morbid the more I think about it, but you know their little like triangle head thing, like the diamond thing on top? Well anyway. So about that, I just find out what I'm going to say. All right. So part of the dissection was that we had to like play off that top little bit of it, and like it was fine. But then like the more I think about it, the more psychotic it is. That then the teacher's like, yeah, no, and like you can then put it on your head and wear it as a trophy. So like there's this group of kids just back got a pretty slow run of getting over it. 647, 448. I have no idea whether that's good or not. But I hope you can manage to get a better time. So yeah, with just like there's just this room full of prepubescent to pubescent children with the flayed squid skin on their foreheads. It's covered in squid blood and ink. Oh, your personal best is 540? Okay, that's quite a bit off, but yeah, as long as you're having fun, that's good. I'm not really much of a speedrunner. I just haven't done it before, so I don't really know much about it. You just want to step 5? Understandable. It's fine to want a goal, but I tend to not really care about time. Like, the timer up here in the left-hand corner is more so for viewers who are interested in that sort of stuff. But yeah, I hated having to dissect the ink sacks. They were so hard to do. By that, I mean like it was really easy to pop them and then you couldn't see any part of the squid inside of it. I feel like I'm stuttering and I forgot how to get up, but okay. Thankfully, I never had to do the frog dissection thing where like you still see its beating heart. I was really worried about that, but thankfully, my school just didn't have that. So I'm going on a break next week for like family stuff, and during that time I am going to be working on like stream stuff in the background. I'm not going to stream, but like I'm going to do a bunch of behind the scenes work. Uh, and I think that because I do have one, I just haven't posted anything on it yet, that I'm going to go ahead and make my first video on YouTube be about how I want to milk my viewers. Because I don't necessarily, but that's, you gotta admit that's funny. Now that I think about it, I'm like really good with animals. Either that or the animals were just really good with me, and I had to convince myself that because I had not a lot of friends growing up, that the animals were my friends. Which is kind of sad now that I say it out loud. Actually, really sad. I'm not pressing down the hold key anymore. Something that I noticed over time is that I tend to yap to all things except for humans. Because in person I tend to get pretty shy. No, I wasn't always like that, but after a while I did become a really shy dude. Uh, yeah, like I talk to animals a lot, even though they have no idea what I'm saying. And I talk to random objects. I guess I do have a lot of conversations with people that, like, you know, when no, you're alone after you had a conversation, no, you think of the perfect thing to say, and then you continue to have like 700 variations of that conversation in your head to show you how much better you do. Yeah, I do that a lot too. What is this? The playthrough of Celeste? Like Celeste was actually like the first thing I streamed, but unfortunately, because I didn't realize my headphones weren't plugged in, there's no audio, so the footage wasn't usable. But like beaver butts and drinking beaver butts and milking people. That's the stuff you come to my stream for. So close. Yeah, there's something I've noticed about myself while playing this game and just like doing other things in life. I'm like either really bad or really good at stuff, and like it's not even consistent across the same things. Some of the stuff it is, but like I either do awful or I do amazing. There's no in between. Or at least I just feel that it's awful or amazing because when it's not amazing, I have poor view of it. There we go. Music blocks? Okay, I see what I have to do. If like I can manage to do them. There's a red heart over there though. Go up and sever the skyline. Complete chapter 1 B-side. Well, and then that's the heart. That's adorable. Just 716 deaths. Time for chapter 2. Yeah, I just have to complete them. I don't need to look for any secrets. Why isn't it telling me how to... Oh, that I need to jump while going out of it. Okay. Hey, Eamon. Good to see ya. How you doing today? You missed it. We had a very exciting talk about milking. There we go. No? That's not right. I love the remixes for this. I think that this side B for chapter 3, not sure. Cool, I just finished the first side B, so... That's one more heart down. Uh-oh. Probably watch some streamers and was just curious. And there's nothing wrong with that. Battling gives me anxiety. Which I think is part of the point. Yes, but it still gives me a countdown. And I do not do well under pressure. I tend to just like forget everything the moment I go under pressure, which is not great. Yeah, it's not that far ahead, but it's just enough that I panic. Because I know that if I don't move, she'll get me. For Achilles heel cycles? So you mean like loops or bikes? Chapter 3? Okay. Gotcha. I could probably go for this one first, actually. Moving things, etc. Yeah, I can get that. I don't really have a problem with moving things. It's mainly just whenever I have anything remotely pressuring me. Because yeah, that's one of the main problems I had with schooling, is that I'd always panic on tests and whatnot, even though I knew the material. Similar thing to like whenever anyone's like, okay, no, can you name a time this has happened? Never ask me that. I cannot name a time if you ask me to. Okay. Yeah. Eamon, would you be weirded out if the the like whenever I became a big streamer, if I ever did, if I invited a bunch of people and we milked each other? Because according to your man, that is weird and unnatural. Because we're talking about experiments. I think that's what we're talking about, but we're talking about something. And I mentioned how I'm like really curious. I don't necessarily know how far I want to go with this, but like, because men can get developed breasts. I myself have them. I ate too much edamame as a kid, which is high in estrogen. But men can lactate. It's just not necessarily the best idea. Well, not necessarily that. It's just not as natural. So something I was wondering is does it taste different? Some news article about once, yeah. It's actually a lot more common than you think for men to have developed breasts. But my point being, if they then lactate because they have the capability to, then they just need some more hormones. Like they'd have all the rubber ducks and whatnot, but would man milk taste different than woman milk? Because there's more testosterone, and I'm just curious about that. And that's about where I lost Coco. Don't know what women milk tastes like either. No, yeah. That's why I suggested, like, if I ever make it to be a yeah, I don't have that great a memory either. If I ever make it to be a big streamer, what I'll do is I'll get like let's say, 10 streamers, 5 men, 5 women. And we'll do a collab where we all get hopped up on the hormones. And then a few months later, after it's done its thing, we milk each other. And like, Coco didn't like that idea because it was weird, or whatever. But like, so I tried to do something, to give an option that was more entertaining, and wouldn't be weird. It's not weird unless you make it weird, but what kind of hormones? Mainly estrogen, and then there's a specific one that triggers milk production when a woman's pregnant. Yeah, estrogen for developing the milk ducts, and then some very specific one for the activation. Yeah. I'm just saying, after that happens, would it be weird to, like, we could even make it fun. We could have there be like a game show based off of it, where we, okay, that's we difficult to get men to take hormones. No, you gotta understand. It's really funny. Are you telling me that it's not funny to go up to one of your homies with a glass of milk and be like, drink my man milk? Because that would be really funny. Like that's what I want to try to do. There's nothing weird about it. I just am curious, and I think it would be really, really funny. They would not understand what I meant. Yes, and that's why it's so funny. You cannot convince me otherwise. Yeah, and like, I get that people would find it weird, but that's only if you make it weird, so don't make it weird and it's fine. There we go, I made a pass there. We could make it like a game show, okay? We could get a platter with like a bunch of shots. It says yes, no context, which would leave you wondering. Yeah, no, but that's why it would be even funnier. Okay? But during this game show idea, what you do is that we'd have a platter full of a bunch of shots, and then contestants would have to go around and try to figure out whose milk belonged to who based off of the what it tastes like, because it tastes different depending on what you eat. So, is that not a great idea? And just think of the scientific advancement of being able to make men lactate. Like, so many single fathers could provide for babies. Surely I'm not the only one that thinks this isn't weird. I do know someone who would say yes for the bit. Uh, Also pretty sure they had a gay crush on me at one point. Now that I think about it more. Because like when I had my basic engineering class, uh, there was this one guy who would always try to hold my hand because I don't know why, but he'd hold my hand. I'm like, I need that, and I had no idea why. It turns out I'm like really dense with a bunch of stuff. So close. Responsible brain just keeps thinking messing around with hormones unnecessary is bad. Come on, live a little. And that's why we'd have doctors around to make sure it was fine though. We like if I were to do this, I would make sure there's doctors involved so that I don't mess someone up. Yeah. So if you get if I get popular enough, you could very well see some of your favorite streamers get milked live. Just I'd say that's something worth doing. That is the incentive that I'm going to give out. Not like, oh yeah, no, you can get better content. No, I will milk people. Okay, I'm glad Battleland's gone. Dang it. How would I... Someone's been bugging me. Why is there like dog squeaky toys going off in the background? Like either that or like a chihuahua. Not a chihuahua, but maybe a corgi? I I don't know that much about dogs. Yeah, in the game. Like I'll point it out next time. It's like meow meow. My Carly 2 dream jumps? No, not the whoosh whoosh sound. It's part of the music. There we go. And now because I mentioned it, of course they're not showing up, and I look like a maniac. The squealing sound is a lot more apparent when GM players do double dream jumps. Kinda have to listen carefully. I swear it was part of the music. Not crazy, the dogs are real. Yeah, I'm on fairly low volume, it's just that these headphones don't really do low volume. So, like, it does when the mic's off, but when, yeah, see, it goes, sorry, it goes, no, it just did it again. See, it went meep meep. There it goes, again. And again. Meep, yeah, it just meep there. The dogs are real. Someone let their dog out, but I don't know who. Who. Probably have to wait for the song to refresh. Like go through the same thing again. Either that or there's like a dog right outside my window that's been barking on cue. Okay, let me know if you need me to do anything on my end. As for this one very specific part of the song. Okay. Good. Keep on doubling back on the last one when I don't need to. There, it squeaked again. I'm not crazy. It's there. Yeah, I think the part's over now, but you hear what I'm talking about, right? I'm not going crazy. Are not enough. I swear it's real. The dogs, they exist. They're somewhere on this mountain. I will find them. Look at that. Hopefully, you'll also be able to back me up on this. So, apparently, it's weird and vampiric that I enjoy the taste of metal. Probably because, like, I probably have an iron deficiency or something like that. But because of that, I enjoy the taste of blood. And I drank someone's blood to see if it tasted different from person to person. Fully, like, consensual, don't worry. That's not actually the metal. I don't know about the specifics of it. All I know is I drank someone else's blood. It's like human oils or some chemicals, basically. Probably chemical, not well, human oils can be a bit vague, but like, I don't think skin oil because like blood tastes metallic. I always thought it was iron, but could be wrong and under a misconception. Yes, and I do not. It would have been better if I had documented what blood type they were, and I knew what blood type I was. But whatever blood type they were, or like blood sugar levels or whatnot, messed with it, or if they had something on their skin. Yeah, it does taste metallic. The other person's I tried was a bit sweeter, but that could just be like blood sugar level or something. It was barely discernible. Uh, but this was also before I messed up all my senses. Confirmed vampire? No, no. Listen, I'm not a vampire just because I drank people's blood and I have sharp teeth. Okay? And just because I'm pastier than a sheet of paper does not mean I can't be in sunlight. Sounds like something a vampire would say. Okay. Well, if going out into the dead of night and turning into a bat to get to places makes me a vampire, then fine. Yes, I am a vampire. Could be a werbat. True. disclaimer, I don't actually turn into a bat in the middle of the night. That was a joke. I just want to make that clear. I'm pretty sure it was clear, but just in case. Vampires are actually like really interesting because like Dracula is like pretty decent looking dude if you read the original. And in addition to that, he's also a werewolf. Well, lycanthrope. I don't know the technical term for it. But like he turns into a wolf in the book. I might be misremembering something because it's been a while, but pretty sure that does happen. Yeah, I may be European royalty descent and might not do well in the sun, and like the taste of blood and drinking others. Did the Underworld movie series actually get it correct? I haven't seen them, so I don't know. But the original Dracula is a lot different than what I thought it would be. Definitely did suffer from the time period, but it also makes it way funnier because of like misogyny and stuff. By way funnier, I don't think misogyny's funny. Sorry, was that there are vampires who often fight against werewolves and they have a common ancestor. Werewolves themselves aren't really a thing. Like, that's more of a recent concept. There are different lycanthrope sort of things. But werewolves in the traditional sense, like Halloween monster, is a recent thing. What was I saying? Dracula's... Oh yeah, the misogyny in Dracula. So, there's a point where they're trying to protect this woman that got bit by Dracula, and Dracula was going to come back for her. And they went over what all the warning signs are to make sure that everyone was prepared. Except for they sent the woman out of the room because it was quote unquote too delicate for her heart. And because of that, Dracula ends up sneaking in and the woman is none the wiser. Because nobody bothered to inform her. This looks like pain. Okay. Every story needs a plot hole, I guess. It's not necessarily a plot hole, more so than it is just people being stupid. Yeah, if you haven't, definitely read like the classical monster books, because they are pretty interesting and they are very different than what a lot of interpretations will lead you to believe about it. Of course, there's the most obvious one is Frankenstein, which there is I can never remember how to pronounce his name, but There's a Frankenstein movie that came out last year, I want to say, or early this year. That was actually like pretty close to the book. But they did change some stuff still. Kind of amazing that I get closer to canon 25, 26 or anything. Yeah, a lot of it, like the whole Monster Mania of, I don't remember when it was, but when all of the black and white monster movies were coming out, they got it, they depicted Frankenstein as this mindless creature that was ugly and misshapen. Uh, and that just sort of caught on as a more terrifying monster. However, if you read the book, Frankenstein's like really hot. Sorry, Frankenstein's monster is really hot. Frankenstein himself, he's just the worst. And then, like, he's also incredibly intelligent. Like, the book lasts, yeah, it does change the story a lot. The book lasts, I want to say, like a year or two, like a couple years. I'm not sure the exact timeline of it, but in it, let's say it's, for sake of argument, let's say it's 3 years that the monster itself was active, which I'm pretty sure is only like 1 year was active. The monster had learned how to read, and also was capable of the espionage and framing for murder. Okay, I see. Also, Frankenstein was never scared of fire like the monster, meaning he was actually very intrigued by it, but pretty much he had discovered fire by himself. And there's a small extra where he's like, oh, fire burns. Okay, and then they turn that into, he's terrified of fire. Because a huge section of the book is going over Frankenstein learning about the world. Sorry, the monster learning about the world. It's a shame. Oh, no, he does have a name, right? His name's Adam, actually. I forgot that. He called the monster actually named himself after Adam from Adam and Eve. Yeah, and then as I was saying, there's been a lot of like people turning into wolves or dogs of some sort throughout like all of human history. However, the modern thing of the werewolf was popularized by a movie adaptation. So, like the turning on the night of the full moon thing, I believe, if I remember correctly, is just stolen from Dracula, because Dracula happens to turn into a wolf on the full moon. I need to get better at clinging to the wall as soon as I dash through it. There we go. Now, clinging, yeah, like the wall grab as instead of like bouncing out like that, I've been holding onto the wall as soon as I get out of it. That way, can you name it dream grab? Okay, that is a much fancier term than what I was going for, so dream grabbing. I need to get better at dream grabbing. There we go. That's what I needed to do. Yep. I understand the principle of it. It's just a matter of making sure I do it properly. Oh, you can do it in advance? Okay, that's good to know. I've been waiting till the last second. The dogs, I swear the dogs are real. You can hit jump just before or after you exit Dream Block. No, I meant to go diagonal there, but fat finger the wrong key. Yeah, close. There we go. Next room. And we've made it to the top. Okay, I see what we're doing here. Ending always frustrates you. Yeah. Close. Uh-oh. Um, um, okay. Timing keeps on changing. I need to wait until it actually is good. Ah. 1, 2, 3. 1, dun, 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 dun. Oh. Okay, I think I got it. Nope. Man, this is tough. Seems tougher than many of the other endings, but I've seen people do it easily. Yeah, well, I caught a fish that was this big, okay? We all have our accomplishments. There we go. Black Moonrise. And all I had to say, all I had to do was lie about the fishing. Yo. Hold on. Yeah, no, the real liking the remix. Yeah, no, I'm just vibing to this. I would have been mad if I hit my head there. That's not too bad. I say running my head into the first enemy over and over again. Yeah, I needed to get through. There we go. I'm worried about saying this because I'll probably jinx it, but this one doesn't seem too bad to the other ones. So that might just be the intense music pumping into me, making me feel like I'm invincible. But this one's, yeah, this one doesn't seem so bad. So, back in my questionable school, that I really did like. It was really good. But from a young age, like in the kindergartner section of the school, uh, something we had to do is we had to learn how to host. So, since I was 5, I theoretically had all the skills to run a breakfast. Bed and breakfast, if my words will work. I think I would probably just, yeah, jump over there. Probably doing way worse than I was a second ago, but we'll manage. Come on. There we go. Nope. I lost sight of the player. It isn't my fault that, you know, I'm losing. It's the game's fault. That's what I like to tell myself, but in reality, I just can't jump. I can get 2 out of 3. Come on. But, so yeah, people act like it's weird to eat random stuff. Like, we didn't all eat rocks as a kid. Right? Da, 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 da. Sorry, my monitor got unplugged for a second, so I was worried something had happened, but we're good. I needed to come back without another dude. There we go. Yippee, checkpoint. I, I, I'm, I'm good at these ones. Dust bunnies in circles. You know, if you look at where the dust bunnies are going, there's a trick, which is you can tell where they are if you look. Which I appear to be forgetting. There we go. Meh. 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 If I make noises, it'll jump better. It's just science, you know? Like, if you say parkour before a jump, you'll immediately make it. See? Parkour. Speed is king. Not when I dash, though. I don't want to dash. I don't know what's going on. I just got like a wave of exhaustion. Like just wash over me. Question is, do I go up or down below that bit? Hmm. Okay, now over it is. Okay, so I have to get everyone. I wasn't sure if I could skip that one. Maybe the real heart was the friends we made along the way. Do you ever think of that? You ever think that maybe life is fine? We don't need these material things. Good, because it's wrong. I need the crystal heart. I need to get past this. It is not just a want, no. There's a craving that'll never go unstated. More! More! Yeah, it's almost dinner time. It's been a bit of a short stream. Not sure how much longer I'm gonna keep going, but I am gonna try to at least finish this room. This definitely will be the last crystal heart of the night if I do get it. So close. Aha, I see. Sorry I'm not really talking that much at the moment. Uh, Brain just kind of went empty. I want to at least like try to finish a something more. I mean, I got 2 more hearts, which is great, but like I am going to be taking a break for a week, and I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow, so I can't wait because I put that message up in the top right corner. I can't wait to forget that that's there and have to explain that next week to someone who comes in to stream. Oh, my back's getting sore. That was close. I'm just no longer jumping off the wall.